So I got a couple of comments that ended up in the held for review section of my YouTube, and I just barely got to them because I can't figure out how to find them on my phone, not with the YouTube app, so I had to go to my desktop to get to these. And I wanted to deal with AronRa. He makes inflammatory comments, and that's apparently why they're getting put in the held for review section of my YouTube, where he's saying, you know, he's not a troll, and he doesn't use inflammatory languages, or he doesn't, right here where he says, and I don't say inflammatory things. You talk shit, and I correct mistakes, for example. And anyway, he goes to all of these topics of DNA and RNA, which I addressed in my last video. And you can see these links in the description here. But first of all, I will address DNA and his claims that DNA doesn't need a cell membrane. I think that's absolutely false.
The steps of the ladder are made up of 4 different kinds of chemicals shown here by different colors and letters. If you look at just one half of the molecule, you can read its chemical sequence or genetic code from top to bottom, sort of like a book. A single strand of DNA is extremely long, millions of letters long. It spends most of its life coiled up like a noodle, living inside the nucleus, or the centerpiece of a cell. Amino acids, however, live outside the nucleus in what's called the cytoplasm. To help DNA interact with the cytoplasm and convert those amino acids into proteins, special chemicals inside the nucleus make partial copies of the DNA code.
So he was wrong. DNA does need a cell membrane. DNA lives in the cell nucleus. Right here where he says, you don't need a cell membrane for DNA. Now I made another video on this before, and it was about abiogenesis. I made it on the 12th of December, and there's a link in the description that you can learn more about this. The fact is I answer these questions over and over. Next, he says that he was never a Mormon. However, evidence indicates that he in fact was a member of the LDS Church. He says that he was baptized at the age of 8. He may not like, or he may not have felt like he was a Mormon, but being baptized as a Mormon makes you a member. Saying you were never a Mormon is dishonest. This is from Wikipedia on his profile. And now he says he is not an internet troll because he isn't anonymous. But the descriptions that I have found doesn't include the word anonymous. You don't have to be anonymous to incite inflammatory conversations, and he does that quite often. He says that he has never made a video about feminism, but then he said he made a video saying he was a second-wave feminist. Can he have it both ways? I disagree. He has made a lot of videos about feminism, and he's appeared on other podcasts and had discussions about this and promoted feminism. So I will show you here, if you just do a search in Google, AronRa and feminism, you'll find, I don't know, thousands of videos regarding him and what he says about feminism. And he says that I lied by saying he made 50 videos about feminism. I never said that. I didn't say that he made 50 videos. I said there are 50 videos out there from his atheist colleagues that he sometimes appears as a guest, and they promote or discuss AronRa's feminist agenda. That's true. I mean, I found, so just in the last search I did, hundreds regarding him and his views on feminism. Hundreds of videos regarding AronRa and feminism. Now, the one that I thought was the most compelling, that disassembles his social justice views on feminism, is this one by SkepTorr. He's also an atheist.
One and only definition that I use. A feminist is one who advocates equal rights and treatment for women. That's it. That's the only definition there is or ever was.
You committed the following fallacies.
And pulled up a half a dozen different dictionaries, all of which gave the exact same one and only definition that I use. A feminist is one who advocates equal rights and treatment for women. That's it. That's the only definition there is or ever was.
fallacious persuasive definition, and also appeal to dictionary. While the latter is more well known, and as described in the website Logically Fallacious, using a dictionary's limited definition of a term as evidence that term cannot have another meaning, expanded meaning, or even a conflicting meaning. This is a fallacy because dictionaries don't reason. They simply are a reflection of an abbreviated version of the current accepted usage of a term, as determined through argumentation and eventual acceptance. In short, dictionaries tell you what a word means according to the authors at the time it was written, not what it meant before that time, after, or what it should mean, which I think is the main point here. Dictionary meanings are usually concise and lack the depth found in an encyclopedia. Therefore, terms found in dictionaries are often incomplete when it comes to helping people to gain full understanding of a term. Which brings us to why there is a fallacy called a persuasive definition fallacy, meaning it's not an academic or an accurate one, but trying to persuade you to think something is as it is defined. For example, if we define Coca-Cola to be the best cola drink, or Islam to be the religion of peace, it would not be accurate or correct. So here's a small glimpse into more academic descriptions of feminism. The term feminism has many different uses, and its meanings are often contested. Feminism comprises a number of social, cultural, and political movements, theories, and moral philosophies concerned with gender inequalities and equal rights for women. Finally, here's the Wikipedia definition, which was even used by a well-known feminist academic in a formal debate, and it goes like this. Feminism is a range of political movements, ideologies, and social movements that share a common goal to define, establish, and achieve equal political, economical, personal, and social rights for women. Now, even though this is a very accurate description, it still fails in one very important aspect. There's a major difference between what is stated by feminists and feminist movements and what they actually do in real life. And you can say that about any politician, political party, or government as well. Therefore, to assert that their actions and goals are to bring equality is incorrect, when there are so many cases where they actually take actions and bring policies which reduce equality, sometimes even openly stating they hold a diametrically opposing position to gender equality, a second wave feminists are well known for.
When we stepped up to the microphone and said, men are the enemy.
In 1979, revolutionary feminists in Leeds wrote a manifesto, arguing that women would only be free if they stopped having sex with men.
We're heterosexual women who were on our side. But what I could never understand, and I did resent, was them going home to men at night. It just seemed such a contradiction.
Definition.
But I've heard rumors of unnamed individuals who believe that feminists have to also be communists.
The appeal to ignorance is strong with this one.
Let's assume those people exist. Do you consider those people feminist or not?
I couldn't, because how could a feminist be promoting communism as that doesn't fit the definition at all?
Okay, so beside the obvious no true Scotsman, also a non sequitur. If feminism is defined as the advocacy for equal rights, then, for your conclusion to follow your premise, communism needs to be defined as advocacy of unequal rights. You imbecile! With that logic, a feminist cannot be a capitalist or a Jew or a gay as well.
Be that. Then that's what you said. It's not me to just define it. It's the only definition there is.
So how can one be a critical thinker on one subject and not on another? The answer is quite simple, really. Wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge will serve you well when you want to see through lies, but they will not protect you when you hold a set of beliefs which appeal to you, not for rational reasons, but because of deep emotional reasons. And even the most intelligent and the most wise and the most educated may also be ruled by his or her own emotional psyche, the place where logic stops and fallacies emerge.
Now, another point here is that AronRa does this with the definition of atheism as well, where he's like, there's only this one definition, there's no other. Like that, atheists just reject that there's evidence for God or whatever, or they don't believe in God. But that is not true when you look at atheist causes. I mean, you look at even in World War II, I mean, more than half a century ago, you looked at the League of Belligerent Atheists, and they had a predestined cause with a status function to kill religious people. And they did. They killed millions of religious people. That's not just belief of rejecting God. That is a belief in taking action against theists. And, there's a whole bunch of others as well, but it is also defined in the Oxford Advanced Learner's Dictionary, which I'm about to show you, under the definition of religion, that atheism is in fact religion. I'd also say that atheism and agnosticism are different. They might have similar functions, but they are different. Now I'll go into the definitions here on both religion and atheism. Now he's right, there's a definition that basically atheism rejects the belief in God. But the definition for religion includes agnosticism and atheism. If you look at the Oxford Advanced Learner's Dictionary for the term religion, showing that he's wrong again. And like I say, these logical fallacies and what SkepTorr says about AronRa's logical fallacies, he backs himself into a corner when he gets religious. When he's just trying to decipher truth and, break down religious dogma, he gets it pretty good. But when he's trying to defend his own dogma, he goes on the logical fallacies of, bad thinking. I mean, in regards to being a skeptic, he's only a skeptic to a degree. And then when it comes to his own dogma, he reverts back to logical fallacies. Now, this is an article I wrote at ex-cannabis.net. And it deals with the militant atheists in the cannabis movement and how they are actually destroying the cannabis movement. And, it's allowing big government and big corporations to take over the cannabis movement, in my opinion, by pushing liberty-minded people out, such as Ron Paul, because of their faith or their religious beliefs or their conservatism. They're flying with half a bird. The left wing is alienating the right wing. And it's devastating for legalization. Anyway, so that's my take on AronRa and his religion of atheism. I absolutely believe he's an evangelical religious atheist. And some of his skeptic colleagues and atheist friends believe that too.